It all started here in Marble Cave. Many years ago, some 500 years, the Osage Indians knew it only as a mysterious black hole. They called it the Devil's Den. The legend tells of a young brave hunting a bear. Both were swallowed by the darkness, never to be seen again. Later, it's believed the Spanish explorers, lowering themselves on long ropes, came searching for the Fountain of Youth. In the 1850s, the miners came, full of dreams of riches, silver and marble. But what they found in a great abundance? That guano. It fetched a good price as a fertilizer. Times were good. The miners built a town above, but we'll tell you more about that later. First, we'll talk about those tourists. Started coming through this cave around the turn of the century. Foreigners, as they were called around these parts. They'd carry lanterns, wear leather-seated breeches, climb down wooden ladders, then slide down the pile of debris that had fallen into the sinkhole, some 20 stories. You might say the cave became more civilized in the 1950s when city folks, Herschend was their name, fell in love with the beauty of the Ozark Mountains. They took out a 99-year lease on Marble Cave and started having celebrations, things like square dances.
Pick your partner and I'll see you now.
They figured out how to bring them down, what to do with them underground, even how to bring them out in this fancy cable car. You folks have a good time. Bye-bye. In the late 50s, those foreigners were flocking to Marble Cave, 50,000 a year. With so many visitors, the folks waiting above to tour the cave needed something to do. Entertainment. Remember that old mining town I told you about? The Herschend set out to rebuild it. 1960, Main Street, Silver Dollar City.
Vacationers heading for the hills of the Ozarks are finding a new form of entertainment at Marble Cave near Branson, Missouri.
You know, folks are always asking, why do they call it Silver Dollar City?
Why, it was a promotion, Gene. You know, advertising back in the old days by word of mouth. Why, we used to give silver dollars as change here at this place, and then the folks would take them home, and they'd tell other folks all about this place.
Yep, Silver Dollar City. Why, word even got back to them Beverly Hillbillies. Yep, they came to visit, was on TV. It was almost like it was their own hometown back in the hills. Yeah. Why, they did about a half a dozen episodes here.
Yeah.
And there's one I especially remember. That's when they was all looking for a husband for Ellie Mae.
Oh.
Yep.
Those Herschends, along with a handful of loyal employees, didn't have a big strategy for Silver Dollar City, but they knew that what they were doing was working. Today, there's all kinds of fun, more than 40 acres of cultural experience.
I started making baskets here about 19 years ago under a gentleman's apprenticeship named Leslie Jones. He had me come in and make baskets, and I served a 4-year apprenticeship under him. The first 6 months, the only thing I could do was split logs. He wouldn't let me do nothing else. I'm a master basket maker now. I can make about any styles of baskets I want to. I've made Appalachian egg baskets, Nantucket baskets, even got into silver baskets. A lot of people don't realize really what goes into one, though. They think a basket is a basket, you know. It's very easy made. They don't realize that you go out from north or east hillsides and drag the log in, bring it in, take a hammer and a wedge and split it. They don't really realize the process. That's one of the things that here I enjoy telling the folks what goes into the process to educate, especially young kids. So I feel like I am kind of like an educator. I try to show the folks how it's done, why it's done this way. So people like Leslie Jones didn't go in vain. I mean, he was good enough to teach me. And in return, I hope I teach somebody else that carries the tradition on down the line.
I said no fighting on Main Street. Oh yeah, never. Oh, you're in a heap of trouble now. What you do, see? It's cutting both stand straight and tall, and when they split off to you, you just wind up. Oh my God!
You've had too many already.
You big goober and small!
Put your hand down hard, doesn't stick. See how nice that comes off? That is good dough. It'll make delicious bread. I call it the honey egg bread, old-fashioned. But my mother just called it bread. And it was delicious. And there was no accident that she would have it coming out of the oven about the time we got home from school. And all that fresh hot bread and good homemade butter, you just can't beat it. But this bread here will taste very much like that bread did. Just real good and good bread.
We have all of our flour and our cornmeal right here, and we take care of that, the milling of it here, and we give it to Roscoe, and he bakes it into bread or whatever he wants. Biscuits, cornbread, mostly bread he bakes, because that's what the people want. That's what they want to see done.
Did you ever go to meet Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe? Did you ever go to meet Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe? Did you ever go to meet Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe? Don't you mind the weather, the wind don't blow. Oh, hop high, ladies, don't side do. Hop high, ladies, don't side do. Hop high, ladies, don't side do. Don't you mind the weather, the wind don't blow. Did you get the rheumatism, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe? Did you get the rheumatism, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe? Did you get the rheumatism, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe? Don't you mind the weather, the wind don't blow. Oh, hop high, ladies, do side do. Hop high, ladies, do side do. Hop high, ladies, do side do. Don't you mind the weather, the wind don't blow.
The special thing about this place is the fact that it's an 1890 model line shaft furniture factory. The machinery in here all runs from the line shaft, which the line shaft, of course, being the shaft at the top, is where the belts all run, flat belts, down to each one of the machines. Each machine has its own switching station where you can turn it on and off. It's very much authentic. Everything here dates back to the late 1800s. To be able to go back and build furniture the way that our forefathers did 100 years ago is very unique. When people come in and they see what we're doing here with the old machinery, they're very much impressed with the fact that it is hand-built and handmade.
The old limb lathe was used back about 500 BC, invented by the Greeks, and they made chair legs and table legs and parts for spinning wheels on it. Before we had electricity, the pioneers used this old limb lathe to make chair legs, and they got about 50 cents a piece for these straight chairs, these old-time chairs.
What we do is high craft, you know. It's a lot of skill involved, a lot of practice and hard work. We do high quality stuff, but still primarily utilitarian.
First you have to shape the liquid glass, then you blow the air into it, and eventually you're going to have to turn it around and flare it open. And if you do it right, it'll flare right open just like a flower. And all you have to do is spin it. You've got it hot enough. And it's a pretty flashy little demonstration. We do it mostly for fun.
You're making something that's not a production item as such. You're making something that is as special as you know how to make it. You're using a lot of techniques. Some of them are things that maybe are 2,000 or 3,000 years old, and some of them are things that maybe you've learned from the master glass blower, or you've taught yourself, or you pulled out of the air or whatever, and you're trying to make something that's really special.
Folks, all I can ask for in my life, I believe, is to be singing this song when I do. Some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll just fly away. Oh, to a home on God's celestial shore, I'll fly away. Oh, now I'll fly away, your glory, I'll fly away. Oh, now when I die, hallelujah, by and by, oh, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then, oh, I'll fly away. Oh, to a land where joy shall never end, oh, I'll fly away. Here's your chance. Oh, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. Woo! Yes, when I die, hallelujah, bye, bye. Oh, I'll fly away. One more chorus. Oh, I'll fly away.
Every day since Jesus is mine, I travel the road, road to glory. To glory divine.
Gonna have a party, a good time jamboree. Gonna have a party, come on along with me. Gonna have a good time, everybody's feeling right. Gonna have a party, and have fun on Saturday night. We're gonna play some music, and you can sing along.
And the best bet for this night is to play your favorite song.
When we play the slow dance and I'm holding you so tight, that's when the party starts. Gonna have a party, a good time jamboree. Gonna have a party, come on along with me. Gonna have a good time, everybody's feeling right. Gonna have a party, and have fun on Saturday night. Everybody's feeling right, gonna have a party, and have fun on Saturday night.
Ladies and gentlemen, well, folks, here's the one you've been waiting for. I want to hear a large round of applause for the star of our show, the singing cowboy, Buffalo Fred! Yeah!
Rode with bison, danced with wolves. On the stage is where I wanna be.
Hey, great, there's a stage leaving town in a few minutes. Let's get on that one.
Yes, I am a singing cowboy. I love to sing my song for you.
Things are great at the old silver dollar.
My big time cowboy show is all brand new.
Where's our favorite guy? Nothing's going here is why.
Have your guy.
Oh, we are your Buffalo cows. Buffalo cows, let's come outside. Come outside, come outside. Buffalo cows, let's come outside and see our Buffalo show.
Whoa!
I can top that. Oh, sure. You know.
I am not an artist, I'm a craftsman, a tool maker. And a knife must function before it's a knife. It's man's oldest tool. It's the most abused, the most ignored, the most lied about, and the most necessary. We cannot survive in the world we live in today without the use of a knife. In the preceding generations, knives, all tools had to go to the field and work, and they had to last. Today we're a throwaway generation. But the sad part of losing this craft to need in economics is simply this. This is not part of American history. This is part of your world heritage.
because whatever it is we call a world today was built with the tools that started right here on a blacksmith forge. I think it's rather sad to lose those skills to need in economics. In the next generation, if you see these crafts plied, it will be someplace like Silver Dollar City.
Silver Dollar City's very best peanut brittle stretcher, our brother Tim.
Scrimshaw came about on the whaling vessels during the 17th and 18th century, the heyday of whaling. And during the idle time, the sailors would find something to do, and with the product of the whale, the bone and the ivory, they would carve it and make things to take home. And since it was done in the idle time, this became known as scrimshaw, because scrimshaw is a Dutch word, means idle or do nothing. I'll show you where it really started was with a whale's tooth. Now this is an original whale's tooth. We can no longer obtain these. This can't even be sold. I can own it, but we can't sell it. What the sailor would have done was to take this tooth and he would have drawn on it. Some of this drawing would have been rather crude. Now this is an example that's done in a man-made material. And if you look at the artwork on this, you'll find it's very, very simply done. Because the sailor could take what he had, a sharpened nail, his pocket knife, or anything like that which he could scrape and cut with. He would rub lamp black in it or have homemade ink of some kind and color it. Some of these things have a brown placenta on them because he used tobacco juice. And it makes it rather interesting. So the sailor could use what he had in the way of very, very simple tools. Scrimshaw has changed dramatically lately because of the availability of ivory. Now, there are no more import of any raw ivory products into the United States. What's here may be used, but the supplies are dwindling very fast. So there are not as many people doing scrimshaw today on that kind of a product. What we're using here is bone and fossil ivories, and these are obtained through excavations in Alaska during to the mining operations and so forth. This is legal ivory, can be imported, and we can use that. And so that's what we're using here.
Well, it's a 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go. Now don't you step on my blue suede shoe.
No one has escaped from anything yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, and I thought because you see, I've been reading this book on Houdini.
Oh, no.
Yeah, if you folks who don't know who Houdini is, he was like, you know, the greatest escapee of them all.
Wait, mercy. Houdini was not an escapee, he was an escape artist.
He was an escapee, I know. I read the book.
Heartache, heartache, stay away from me tonight. I'm alone, but I'm alright, long as I can keep him off my mind. Blue heartache. If I go and let you be here deep inside my heart again, it makes me wish I never told the lie.
Come on back to see us. We had a wonderful time with you here at Silver Dollar City. We'll be looking for you later. Bye-bye now.
Praise the Lord and shouting victory. I can still hear them singing today.